Hey everybody, how are you? This is Don Harrold, and today is Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2010. Did a video, sometime in the last few weeks about silver and what I was doing with silver then, and I want to talk about what I did with silver today and what I plan to do in the future. A little history. I've been buying silver. This is a chart of SLV, the ETF that tracks the price of silver. And for recent history, I'm not going back too many years, but for recent history, back in 2008, over here on the left-hand side, I did a series of webinars and videos and free conference calls begging people to buy silver. Some of y'all may have watched those videos, or some of you may have been on some of those live phone calls or webinars. I was begging and begging and begging and pleading and pleading and pleading. Now over here, right there, when silver made a pretty nice move up in May of this year, I said that I thought that it would be a good idea to sell some silver, and I did sell some. And I actually got a really good price on my silver. I kind of can't believe as the price that I got on some of that, because I ended up getting about 21 on some silver I sold over here. I sold some Eagles in that move up in May, and I got I don't remember the exact price, but let's just call it 21. I remember getting a really good price on them. Sort of amazing, actually. But then when silver came back down to 17, I bought more. And what I sold at 21, I replaced at 17. And for the last few months, I've just been kind of watching silver go sideways. And I've wanted to either buy more or sell some more. And the recent move in silver has given me an opportunity to sell some. So let's go to a daily chart. And I have sold silver at an average price of $21.70, because I sold some last week and I sold some today. My average price is $21.70 on some silver that I've sold, and I've sold only 15% of what I own. And I know that many of you, that when you hear me talk about silver, anytime I use the word sell, I get people just losing their minds, like, why would you sell your silver? Well, when I back this chart up, and you remember where I was buying some silver between 8 and 10, I bought some more around 12, I bought some more around 15, sold some around 21, got some back at 17. I mean, when you look at my history on this, taking 15% off within about 50 cents of an all-time high is not some sort of crazy dump everything maneuver. In fact, I had people today, when I sold some silver, ask why I only sold the small amount that I sold. And I just believe you need to have some precious metals. So don't ever look to me to unload everything. That's just not going to happen. But I want to talk about my strategy going forward. And I also want to talk about some technical levels around which I think you can look to make some decisions yourself. Keep in mind that I'm not in any way your financial advisor. I'm just some guy on YouTube who happens to have a pretty good track record when it comes to precious metals. This move up in silver from over the last month and a half, it's pretty astounding. And whoops, I don't want that. And that's I like things that are easy. That trend is pretty easy to see. That's not a real difficult trend to follow. But there's something interesting about this trend. And I noticed this today as I was looking at the charts. Over here on the left-hand side, on 8/24, silver opened at 17.5, closed at 17.99. The low on the day was 17.49 to about 50 cents low to high. And you can see that green candle really stands out. If you come over here, and let me draw one more trend here. Look at this. Look at this. The top of the channel all the way up cuts right through the middle of today's range. And today's range, low to high, was about 60 cents. In a percent basis, right in line with what the low to high was on the 24th. Now, I'm not telling you that there's a real, you're not going to find this in a book. I don't even know how to explain this to you, but symmetry is interesting to me. And seeing that sort of symmetry where the top of the channel now is cutting through the middle of today's range, and the bottom of the channel, and August 24th, or the bottom of the channel cuts to the middle of the 24th. It just seems interesting to me. And when I saw that, I thought, that pattern just seems too organized. It's not chaotic enough. And it made me think, if you back this chart up now, this sort of that sort of move, it sort of just kind of clears straight up. And I look back at what silver's done over the last couple years. I don't think it's a bad idea to take some off the table here. I think that the lack of volatility in the move recently suggests that a pullback to this trend line, the more longer term trend, is probably likely. When I look at this trend here, that sideways action, the highs of which were in 09 and then again in May of 2010, that level of, we'll call it 19 and a quarter, 19 and a half, that seems like a fairly logical place for silver to come back down to at some point. So when I look at these charts, hey, listen, if I'm taking 15% off at all-time highs, and the chart has been so clear and so obvious over the last couple months, when things are so clear and they're so obvious and there's such a lack of volatility and there's such symmetry, and you got something at an all-time high, I think it makes sense to take some off the table. So what I'd like to do is do one of two things. Either wait for another 15 or 20% higher to take another 5 or 10% out, or have silver pull back to that trend line, or the level of what used to be resistance at around 19 and a quarter. Have it pull back down to that to buy more, or, maybe even wait lower. I mean, it depends on what the charts will look like. One more note about silver. If you're interested in momentum charts, look at the daily stochastics on silver. They've been overbought, which, if you're not a technical chartist, just simply means people have been buying closer to the highs. And they've been overbought now, really technically overbought, since silver was at about 19. Okay, so we've had, gee whiz, $3 in upside, call it 15 cents. I think that's 15%. Yeah, about 16% of upside, and been overbought. And when you look at the weekly stochastics, they are overbought, more overbought than the dailies. They're not turning down yet, and that suggests that there may be more upside. But note that the last time they were overbought like this, silver went from a high of 19 and a half, and it turned back up again at around 17. The time before that, you had an overbought indicator between a high of 17 and 17 and 17 and a half, and it got oversold again at about 15 and a half. The time before that, the indicator high was, call it 16, turned back up at around 13. Before that, high of around 14 and a half, turned back up again at 12. What I'm telling you is, I'm not suggesting to anyone that silver has seen the highs of all time. I'm not even suggesting that this is the high for the next month or even couple months. What I am telling you is that the charts have been fairly good with silver, giving you indications on where to get out, get back in, and with something at an all-time high, I cannot ignore taking some off the table. I had someone today in my live trading room, because I was kind of vacillating on what to do today, and they said, Don, looking at these charts, if it wasn't silver, it was anything else, and it wasn't precious metals, what would you tell people to do? Well, I'd tell them to take some off the table. That's what I did today. I'm looking to add more in a pullback, or if we get another 15 or 20% higher, I may sell more. And I want to conclude by saying, and this is something that I know I'm going to get people posting on this video, comments like, there's Don pushing people out of silver. For those of you that make those comments, I'm going to reiterate to you again. I was begging people to buy at 8 to 10. And I've only sold when we've gotten above 21. And today I got over 22 on some silver. So if the worst thing I've done is help people make 250% of their money on silver in a couple of years, then I apologize. But I'll suggest to you that no matter why you like silver, no matter why you like gold, The charts are giving you an opportunity to scale some out, and you should never apologize for making money. So next time, I'm Don Harrold.